Greetings, denizens of the multiverse. This is your captain speaking. We are at broadcast depth. Hello, multiverse. We are receiving you. Preparing for interface. We are using your brain's electrical system as a receiver. You are receiving this broadcast as a waking dream. You are receiving this broadcast in order to become a part of this dream and to see into worlds beyond. Are you ready? Get ready. Be prepared to enter worlds stranger than you've ever imagined. Worlds that lie beyond this one. Welcome to Multiverse Theater.
The time is 0830 Pacific Standard Time. It is currently a cool 65 degrees Fahrenheit. NOAA has detected and forecasted heavy rainfall today and all of this week. Please be advised to wear appropriate all-weather clothing with up-to-standards environmental sealing as well as filter masks. Medical stations are all stocked up and emergency rescue teams are on standby. Have a pleasant day.
Common environmental hazards. Steam. Steam is a common element you find in various mechanical areas and is capable of causing severe burns. Always wear a full X14 environment suit when walking on or around exposed steam vents. In the event of a steam leakage, seal the leakage with space tape until a more permanent fix can be applied and proceed with standard repair solutions. Do not attempt to dash through an active steam spray if you are not protected. You are not the Freemason. That will not work. And he had a hazard suit anyways. Plasma. All regulations and dangers for steam apply to active plasma leakages, barring that an X21 will be required as opposed to an X14. Fire and smoke. In the event of a fire, please evacuate the space as soon as possible. Standard procedure is for authorized personnel to seal the bulkheads and vent the room as soon as possible. Don't play with explosive decompression. You would like your corpse to be presentable at your funeral. Electrical hazards. Active conduction is not always immediately apparent. If you have any reason to believe there is a loose conduction in the area, avoid touching any metal surfaces until you are clear of the danger. If you are working with or near exposed conduction, always wear your warding gloves and only use cytoplastic tools instead of standard metallic tools. Radioactivity. Among the features of your personal hand computer is a Geiger counter. Unless instructed otherwise, always ensure that this feature is active. If you receive a Geiger alert from your device, immediately move in the indicated direction until you receive a corresponding safety alert. When moving into an active radiation zone, ensure that you are fully protected by X19 environment suit. Radiation will not give you superpowers. It will only give you pain. Hazardous air. In the event of a hazardous air situation, special strips on the walls will illuminate in yellow. Apply standard X14 rebreather and immediately move away until the signal strip is no longer illuminated.
It is currently 14:30 Pacific Standard Time. Heavy rainfall inbound to the islands. Unpredicted surges are battering the outer walls. Travel time between islands has been increased by an additional 30 minutes. Please adjust your activities accordingly and notify all parties involved. Emergency rescue teams are on patrol to assist. Have a pleasant day.
About a minute to get the old shaver up and running. Benefits of having switched to electric and being able to store it in a garage instead of leaving it outside like a caveman. Another day, another beat. They've got me going up to Waukegan for the week. I just spent 3 days recovering from being down in Gary for a week and a half. Interesting place, not terrible. Bit gloomy for my taste. But went to a nice diner for some eats. I was expecting to be busting down some clip joints near the shoreline, but nothing. I almost had to bust the chops of some beau that I suspect of being a clout, but turns out He was just a lost soul trying to find a bunch of his buddies that were supposed to be meeting him at a creep joint nearby. He was there because they were adding the city to the ever-growing sprawl that is the Northern Triad, as they're coming to call it. The brass and the bean counters wanted to make sure that there was some official law enforcement presence, as they're calling it, just to make sure nothing funny happened. We've been having trouble. Lots of trouble with insurrectionists and secessionists who don't much like the idea of us coming together to survive the mess that would come about within the last decade or so. We've been wrangling up the chopper squads left and right just like there's no tomorrow. Lots of the places in the States are becoming unlivable for one reason or another. It means a lot of people are migrating up this way. It's pretty crazy. I remember how things were after the war, and now things have gotten a bit worse, but then again, they weren't exactly wine and roses before that. They're still not sure what caused it, but at this point, it's irrelevant. Waukegan will be an interesting change of pace. I'll be investigating some noise involving bangtails, the electric kind. Supposedly some Brunos have been wrangling up bent cars they got from their local fence mover, hot rodding them. Supposedly I'll be working with some G-men from the FBI. Must be serious if they're getting involved. Thank Christ I had the insulation and battery replaced on for my shaver. I don't want to risk staying in another flophouse and getting chilled off by some crackhead with an attitude problem. I've been spending more nights in my shaver than at home for over 5 years now. I think my rent and my car payments are about equal at this point. It'll be nice to one day transition from being a police detective to being independent. There's too much filth in the clubhouse, and despite our best efforts to get out the grime, it's getting caked in. Too many high binders. Most of my buddies and I have had to quit because of the death threats. We've had 2 good coppers fitted with their overcoats. A good man and a good woman who didn't take any dope dough to clam up. Hopefully, I'll live long enough to make that jump. We'll see. For now, it's time to punch it and see the day through.
Hey, good job handling those noobs. Fresh out of the academy they are, you know. And I'm really glad y'all delegated Danny to take the lead on this. These are big girl steps for her.
Danny's a good kid. She's addicted to it like a fish to water. Lots of promise and potential.
I mean, she was your Padawan. Of course she takes her work very well.
Come now. I'm no more worthy of a comparison to Qui-Gon than anyone else.
Well, I'm no Obi-Wan either.
You're like Kyle Katarn, if anything.
Except not quite as bearded, sadly.
Well, the gnarly week-old perma-stubble beard suits me just fine.
Yeah, I swear you must have been a Sam Spade character in a past life.
You would think, especially considering how from time to time I just lapse into speaking like hard-boiled detective.
Ugh, it's so creepy. Not to mention, I've never seen you read anything outside of casework.
It's like he's channeling creepy dead people or something.
I mean, the team psych says I registered normally. Nothing unusual in my brain scans.
I don't know. You might have a tumor or something.
Well, hopefully it's a tumor and not something else growing inside of his head.
It's not a tumor.
Well, if you say so.
Remind me to get you off-brand, off-season cheeses and sausages as your holiday gifts.
Oh, wow, rude. Way to hit below the belt there, buddy.
That should be a war crime.
Never let it be said that this job is boring. You two should be a comedy duo.
I mean, we could do that if we ever got booted from law enforcement.
Remind me why I put up with you two?
You see, you stay because secretly you're dead. This is purgatory, and you're undergoing purgation in order to pass into the next world.
That got real Jacob's laddery.
Yeah, it did.
Please never bring that up again.
3 spooky 5 me.
Yes, that.
You two are the reason I come to work every day. I never get this kind of comedy living in a gated community with my family and parents.
Is there comedy to be had in a gated community?
Define comedy.
Oh God, it sounds like hell.
It's not so bad. People tend to be on their best behavior because they know I live there, and they don't want me calling Max Tack or you clowns.
Wow, rank hath its privileges.
Well, it's that, and because they know if you two dorks get involved, someone is going to end up with their house burned down.
That was only one time. I had no idea what was in the target's background because I was on the ground shooting up. He had Batforce integrated in the house construction, so then we could use our cyber optics to look inside. How was I supposed to know he had explosives and incinerators in his house? I'm a cyborg, not a psychic.
To be fair, you've given perps the impression that you are, because our cybers can connect to the net so quickly and pull info almost instantaneously without lag.
I need to work on that. I can put it...
Well, you need to come up with a different approach. Remember, I'm the one with the Batman routine.
I can put it the psychic part. Parlay that into a mad wizard or scientist or something.
See, that's the spirit.
Alright, everybody. The pizzas are here, so is the root beer and the side orders. Who's ready to chow down? Oh, man, I am starving. Smells so good.
Glad you decided to spring for Reggie's and got us some Detroit-style pizza. And is one of those island classic?
Ah, you know it. Barbecue sauce, Portuguese sausage, wasabi furikake from fromage blanc, and Hawaiian chili pepper Havarti cheese, with some diced tomatoes, green bell peppers, cilantro, and onions.
I want 2 slices, por favor.
You got it, Chief. Man, oh man, you can never go wrong with Reggie's.
You got that right. I prefer this over Spades and Pizza Palace. But those are nice every so often, you know.
By the way, Yamagata is coming back on Wednesday. Some things got delayed back home, so she'll be there a little longer.
Gotcha. Well, we'll make do without her. Pretty excited to see her working with you.
Yeah, I think it'll work out well. We complement each other. She said she'll be bringing in some homemade bento for us as a gift to make up for lost time.
Fine by me. I'm good with some homemade bento.
Wait, Does that mean her grandma is going to be making us that bento?
Yep. So it'll be like 3 months worth of bento for every one of us, and then some.
I'm not seeing any downside to this. So glad that before she left for Kauai, Yagamata approved my requisition to get us another fridge, along with a separate ice chest, on top of the additional equipment I need for our shop.
Are you planning on building us some new toys, Wayland?
I got a carnival of red lights waiting for y'all. Look, please tell me it's not going to do several blocks of damage per shot. Again. Look, we got an upgraded budget. It didn't say it was that upgraded.
Touche.
And plus, I'll be able to give you a 59-06 to fine-tuning it needs, Chase. Please be gentle with my 5906. It's a family heirloom. Pretty sure it should be in the museum by now. Hey, what about Danny's 10? That pistol's about as old. She's already said she's going to let me fine-tune it and replace what needs to be replaced.
Plus, I'll be able to finally stop mocking your groupings not being so tight.
Yeah, haha. At least I'll be able to use it more readily instead of just relying on my wits and strength.
Yeah, that's a good thing. The last perp we took down, the EMTs were concerned that a silverback gorilla with dump truck hands had gotten a hold of the perp.
Yeah, that's such a weird analogy. I mean, he didn't need facial reconstruction or anything.
Well, he did have to spend a week in ICU to get his bruises to swell down so that his face didn't resemble a diseased fruit that had been set on by an elephant, so...
Yeah, okay, I mean, it didn't help he was drugged out of his mind, and most of the nerve endings in his body didn't. It was either that or kneecapping him.
Yeah, I could see that scenario ending up horribly.
We thank you for tuning in to this latest installment. Join us next time for another exciting episode of Multiverse Theater.